Drag X Drive is a game that no one seemed particularly excited for, which is a shame because wheelchair basketball is a real sport and it is cool to have this kind of representation in a game. So as any good game reviewer does, I bought the game and I hopped in to play it so you don't have to. So today we are going to be reviewing Drag X Drive on the Nintendo Switch, and let me know in the comments below if you played the beta test that they had a couple weekends ago, and if you're enjoying the game or you enjoyed the beta test and you're picking up the game. Let me know all that in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts, but let's get into it. So I strapped my silly wrist straps on my Joy-Cons and I hopped in, and immediately the game throws you into a tutorial which gives you the basics of the game. It teaches you how to move, how to break, how to shoot, pass, which everyone seems to have missed this part of the tutorial, and just play the game in general. One thing I'll say about the tutorial is it desperately needs a speed up option. Too many times I found myself just sitting there waiting for the next phase, which didn't help with my interest in continue playing the game. Admittedly, at first the controls really turned me off. I was really struggling to pick them up, but as I continued playing the tutorial and getting the hang of how the controls actually work, I started to actually have some fun with the game. And I personally found that using my thigh meat instead of the desk to control my baller was the way better option as far as controlling my character in this game. And that's just my preference personally. Now, once you're done with this tutorial that never really seemed to end, you can finally customize your baller. And honestly, this was a bit of a letdown for me personally. There are like a handful of customizable helmets you can kind of change. Some have cat ears, some have goggles on them, and you can change the number on your jersey. But outside of that, there really isn't a ton you can customize outside of like your character body type and the colors that they have. So it just was kind of a letdown. I was really hoping for some more flashy unlockables, kind of like you get in Rocket League. And I thought that would be really cool in a game like this, but it's not there. But regardless of my disappointment in this instance, I set my colors and I moved on. And at this point, I learned how to play the game. I changed up my drip, and now it was time to get into the meat and potatoes of this game, that being the online play. Now, let me just preface that this game runs really well. It runs beautifully on the Nintendo Switch too. 60 frames per second. The graphics look really nice. I will say that the art style is an interesting choice. Everything is just kind of gray and dull. It's not very bright and pleasant to look at, which I think is just odd. I don't know why there's not more color in this game. But immediately when you go to get into a game, you join these online public lobbies called parks, where you can opt in to play all the time or only when you're needed in the lobby. And this gives you the option to shoot around and practice if you so choose, if you only opt in to play when you're needed. However, I found that when the lobby was full, even if you were opted in to play all the time, you didn't have the right number of people in the lobby to get multiple games going, you just kind of had to sit out and wait, or you could like search for an entirely new lobby. But it was really odd to me that you just had to sit and basically wait your turn to play the game. But once I finally got into the online game and into my first match, I can see exactly where Drag X Drive really falls apart. Now, I had fun during the tutorial. I said that earlier. I had a lot of fun during the tutorial, and the reason I had fun in the tutorial is because I played with bots, and the bots play this game as intended. They pass you the ball. They work as a team. No one that is actually playing this game passes the ball, and I mean no one, which is crazy because it's right in the tutorial. You really can't miss it or skip it in that matter. Like it's right there. You cannot avoid it. But this leads to players just flying down the court trying to dunk or shoot as quickly as possible as soon as they get the ball. And this leads to you also not passing, because when you do finally get the ball, you actually want to play the game you just paid $20 for. So you end up keeping it, and since you know you'll never get it back. And this leads to just kind of a dull lull period while you're sitting and waiting for your teammates to do something or waiting to play defense, which isn't a whole lot better in my opinion. Defense is absolutely hectic in this game. To knock the ball out of your opponent's hands, you have to hit them head on, meaning if you miss, they literally just fly by you and score. And for me personally, this led to a lot of panic moments, which is bad in a game where you literally have to move your arms correctly to play effectively. And this led to just an overall incredibly frustrating experience. I was constantly going to try and block, and then I would just miss them, and they'd fly by me, and then I'd panic, and then I'd spin my wheels all over the place, and I couldn't get repositioned in a way to be effective to my team. And it made me realize that this game has an incredibly steep learning curve, and the controls are a bit difficult, and it definitely is going to take some practice and some skill to get good at this game. However, because of how frustrating it is between the actual movement versus players just not working together, there's not a whole lot of incentive for you to actually want to learn how to get better at this game. Now, between all these games of ball hog, you will also play mini games like race to see who can get the ball faster. And this, in my opinion, is just rather dull. I really didn't like these mini games that they threw you into. And the reason for that is I came to actually play the basketball game that this game is advertised as, not this mini game. And the fact that there isn't an option to simply just queue up for a game, and that you have to go to these public parks and just sit and wait your turn, is a wild design choice in my opinion. Like seriously, why is there not a queue up feature? Why do I not have the ability to just join matchmaking and hop in with other players and play just like other games like Rocket League? It just doesn't make sense why I'm just sitting here shooting a basketball, if I can get my hands on a basketball before everyone else in the lobby can, while I'm waiting my turn. I don't understand why I have to wait to play the game I paid for. So like, between rounds, if you don't get picked to play in the next game, you're literally just sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting your turn. It's just a really odd design choice, which I'm not entirely surprised by, because Nintendo's not known for making great online experiences outside of like Splatoon. Like Mario Kart doesn't even have a party up feature where you can party up with a friend and go online and race people. You have to just race bots. They're not very good at making these online experiences, which is why it's interesting they decided to make one of the Switch 2 launch titles an online experience. It's just a little bizarre to me. Now, there is also the option to go into the offline park, so you can leave the park that is online and just go and you're by yourself. And there are some other mini games that you can dive into in this park, and these range from things like time trials, seeing how fast you can go through a certain obstacle course, to shooting contests to see how many shots you can make in X amount of time. And again, I found these to be relatively dull, because I bought this game to play 3-on-3 wheelchair basketball, so I didn't find these super enjoyable, and I only did a couple before I eventually just got bored of it and went back to the online lobbies. Ultimately, on paper, Drag X Drive is a really cool idea. It's a really awesome idea, but in practice, it's just kind of a letdown. While the gameplay is really unique and innovative, there is a steep learning curve to the movement that can lead to a lot of frustration in the onboarding process for people hopping in for the first time. And I definitely think this game could be cool and a lot of fun, but all the frustration to get to that point doesn't really seem worth it to me based on the experience that I had with the game. The fact that no one in these online matches seems to want to play as a team leads to just really dull experiences where you're just sitting around hoping a teammate finally passes you the ball, or you manage to grab a rebound. You're just constantly waiting. And the fact that there's no way to just queue up for a match, you will spend a lot of time waiting. Just like in games, waiting for someone to finally give you the ball or to get a rebound, you're going to be sitting in the park just waiting your turn to actually play the game. You're going to be wheeling around, shooting the basketball. Again, if you can get the basketball before the other person there, there's just a lot of sitting around waiting in this game. And the mini games are there, but again, if you find the movement to be cumbersome like I did, they aren't really going to do a whole lot for you. Ultimately, I feel like if this game was a tech demo pack-in game, I would feel so much better about my experience with it. I would have maybe enjoyed it a little bit more. The problem is I spent $20 on this game, and I spent most of my time in it sitting around waiting for lobbies to actually put me into a game, and then when I was in the game, hoping my team would actually cooperate with me so I could play the game. It just was not a very fun experience, which is a shame because it's a really cool premise and a really cool way to show off the mouse Joy-Con, but it's just the amount of stuff that isn't clicking. And maybe they needed to add something where you were like forced to pass the ball X number of times before you could shoot. I really don't know what they could have done to make it to like kind of promote, you know, teamwork a little bit more and make this more of a cooperative experience, but it just doesn't feel that way right now. It really feels like if you get the ball, you're racing down the track and you're gonna try and score, and then if you miss, you're gonna go back the other direction and try and stop the other team and hope you get the ball, right? And you're just gonna go and you're gonna sit and you're gonna watch your teammates. It's just it just frustrated me personally, and it's really disappointing because I was looking forward to this game. So honestly, if you're super interested in this game, maybe catch it on a sale. I wouldn't recommend spending the full $20 on this game. Now, it is a Nintendo game, so you may catch it on like maybe a $10, $15 that'd be probably the lowest price you'll see this game. But I would recommend maybe waiting and seeing if this game gets knocked down a little bit, because right now it's just not something that I found super enjoyable and not something I really see myself returning to, which is a bit of a disappointment. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Drag X Drive. Maybe you're enjoying it, and if you're enjoying it, more power to you. I really hope you are enjoying it, because I really wanted to like this game, but it just didn't click for me personally. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, because it helps me out, helps the video out, and helps the channel out immensely. But until next time, peace.